Welcome, welcome, a warm, warm welcome to all of you tuning in to this show, which is called
Sunday Chat.
It is, and for those of you who maybe can't remember, I'm Richard.
I'm Paul.
He's Paul. He is. And we're here on the sofa, our weekly show. The first thing we'd like to do is thank all of our new subscribers. Thank you and welcome. Thank you for joining us. And to all our die-hard, hardcore subscribers who've been with us for ages.
Well, since we started.
That's right, in 2017. Richard and Paul since 2017. That's contractual. Welcome, everybody, one and all. What are we talking about today, Paul?
We got a list.
We've got a list.
As usual.
We've got a
as
list.
Usual.
That's right.
But it's a glorious, glorious day today, isn't it?
It is,
Absolutely
Paul.
lovely. Absolutely lovely. There was a little wren in the palm tree before, which was absolutely gorgeous. Blue skies, and it's quite mild, isn't it?
Are wrens those micro birds?
Yeah, they're tiny.
Tiny, aren't they? Little
Tiny.
micro birds. They're almost like a step up from an insect, aren't they?
But they're sort of like, you know those little robins you used to get on Christmas cakes, the plastic robins? They're sort of just a bit step up from those plastic robins. Yeah.
Hummingbirds are like a moth, really, aren't they?
They are, they're tiny.
They're like an insect. Anyway, so we just wanted to give you a little quick reminder, a smidgen of a reminder that we are on other platforms. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Planet Vegetaria, which is a Facebook group by Richard and Paul.
Twitter.
Twitter, where the people twitting, whatever. I don't do Twitter. I don't get it.
We're not as
I don't get
active
it.
on Twitter as we are on the other platforms.
So, what else are we on? Signed Clyde at the moment.
At the moment.
That may change. That may change.
There's some changes afoot, potentially.
There are, Paul, that's right. And what are those changes that are going to possibly, potentially happen?
We've been looking, because a number of people have asked, at Patreon, haven't we?
Patreon.
Is it Patreon?
Patreon.
Patreon.
Patreon. You say tomato, I say tomato.
And yeah.
We're looking at it. We've looked at Patreon.
A bit corporate for us, a bit too black and white and red and yeah.
We're looking for a friendlier type of platform where we can provide to the subscribers on that platform, where you pay a small monthly fee. We're looking to provide extra special content behind the scenes. Maybe Paul doing a strip with cabbage leaves on the allotment.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
It would need the whole cabbage plot for that, really.
You said it.
Mind you, I do have quite big brassicas, so there we are. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be fun for Naked Gardening Day.
I think the brassicas might be eaten by then.
Oh.
I'll have to use straw or something.
Straw?
Yeah. Was it May, Naked Gardening Day?
You'd need a whole bale of straw, Paul, I think you'll find.
I could, is there no, we don't have bean frames at that time of year, no.
Yeah, so maybe that's not a good idea.
I don't think so, we'll leave that.
There could be indecency issues around that as well. So yes, extra content, new things.
Different
things for the members or subscribers of that platform should we decide to do it.
Yeah.
We're looking into it, yes? So what we'd like to sort of pose is a question, la question, about that. So if that's something that you think you would be into, paying a small monthly fee.
Like £500, something.
A small fee, for extra content that's just for you, let us know.
Just for subscribers.
Just for the subscribers of that platform.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments below. And we're looking on how to do that, how it works. I've got a frog in my throat now. That's better. I'll have a sip of this urine-coloured herbal tea.
It's cherry bakewell.
Why is it yellow-green?
It's like horrible sludgy colour.
Oh, it's quite nice.
Is it?
Yeah, it's got a almondy flavour.
Oh right, there we are. Well, it should be with cherry bakewell. Is there cherries in there?
Well, I can't see any.
You'd think if it was cherry bakewell, it would sort of you'd be pink to give you the sense of cherry, but then you'd get the almond flavour coming through in the taste, and that would give you your cherry bakewell. But that looks like, actually, it looks like some of my compost tea. Maybe it is.
It better not be, Paul.
With a bit of almond essence in it.
Yeah, okay, lovely. So yes, that's something. We're also on Pickfair as well, where we have an online store where you can do digital downloads of my photography. It's absolutely marvellous. You can do a digital download and then send that to the printer of your choice.
Yeah, and print it yourself.
Or put it on a mug or a t-shirt, whatever you want.
Or put it on a stick and take it to somewhere to have it printed out for you.
On a stick?
Yeah, you know, on a USB,
on a USB
stick. You can go into Snappy Snaps or something and say, can I have this printed out, please?
You can. So that's available too.
And they're high res so that they can be quite...
Printed relatively large, not
that big.
Yeah, okay. Enough with the semaphore. So,
I always wanted to be one of those people that stand at the front of planes going...
With those lollipops?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a really, really important reason that those people do that job.
Oh, it's to stop the plane crashing into the terminal.
Well, yeah. Anyway.
Then they do that, don't they?
We've had a nice week though this week, haven't we, love? We've had a nice... Paul, move on now from that. Waving the arms around.
What is it called?
I don't know.
There must be a specific name. I'm sure they do other things as well, but there must be a specific name. We've had a lovely week.
We've had a lovely week, love, haven't we?
We have.
Yeah, we've been out to lots of nice places.
Out and about.
We have. No, it's been lovely.
We had a quiet day Monday. I had to do work on Monday, so it was a quiet day Monday.
I'm on annual leave.
He's on annual leave.
For another week.
For another week.
That's just amazing.
And then on Tuesday, we went to two of our favourite places, didn't we?
Coombe Hill. Coombe Hill. That's C-O-O-M-B-E. Coombe Hill, which is the home of the Boer War Memorial.
Which is quite...
it's quite impressive.
It's quite impressive.
It's an impressive structure.
It's also one of the places where they have the sort of lit up beacons for special events.
Yes, they do, don't they?
So I think for the Millennium, they were the Millennium Beacon thing that was all over the four nations of the United Kingdom.
Yes.
And that was one of the spots. And basically it's a huge fire bucket on top of a big pole and it gets lit, doesn't it?
And for those of you who don't know, these are mainly traditional sites, aren't they, of beacons?
Yeah.
Very often were used to communicate with other areas, other towns, to warn them of impending doom, armies approaching, things like that. They had them for the Armada, the approach of the Armada.
They did. Yeah.
So the beacons would be lit across the nation as a communication method. So yeah, they have one on Alderley Edge.
Yeah,
they have a beacon site. If you've not seen my video on Alderley Edge, have a look.
I do like Alderley Edge.
Yes. So
but that was absolutely lovely. It was a
It
beautiful, at that point there was beautiful blue skies and the sun was out, but it was windy, wasn't it?
goodness me.
It was windy. I mean, it is a high point above a really flat plain.
I think it's the highest point in the Chilterns, isn't it, Paul?
So you can see for
Ever.
miles and miles.
On a clear day.
You can. I would have thought you could see for 20 miles there.
I think you can see the Cotswolds.
Well, maybe
from
even
there.
more. Maybe even more.
Maybe.
But it's a lovely place, and actually, Chequers, which is where the Prime Minister's residence is, the sort of
Country home of the Prime Minister.
Yeah, it's an official residence, if you like. That you can see that from Coombe Hill, from the Boer War Memorial. You can see it.
I think it's an official waste of money, frankly.
Oh yeah.
Really? Do they really need a country home
Well,
these days?
They do lots of meetings there. I mean, they've done lots of Brexit meetings there. So yeah, that was a complete waste of time. Yeah.
So that was lovely, Coombe Hill, and then we went across to West Wickham Hill.
We did, yeah.
And that's the home to the Dashwood family Mausoleum.
Which is, I think, is spectacular.
And it's spooky.
And it's big. I mean, I realised the other day how... I mean, I knew it was big because we walked around it so many times. But I just looked at it with sort of new eyes the other day, and it's just huge.
It is. And there's a churchyard just next door with a gold orb.
There's
on
an
the
orb
top.
on the top. And when we say an orb, we don't mean like a ball.
Big.
It's huge. You know, I think it seats 4 people. There's a door. I mean, you can't go into it, if you see what I mean. But there is a door, and people can go and have meetings in there. Because the Dashwood family, with the Hellfire Caves below...
Yes, the Hellfire Club.
The Dashwood family was quite renowned in its day. Still there now, so we won't say too much.
No, I mean, we don't want to insult the family.
But it's this golden ball is just incredible. It really
Lovely.
is. Though the weather had changed in our drive from Coombe Hill to there, and it was much cloudier and much darker and much sort of more mysterious, which really fits the mausoleum well.
It does, and also fitted the fact that we met a pair of ghost hunters.
We did!
Hi, Nikki and Michael.
Hi!
And they had equipment.
Yeah.
They had this piece of equipment that picks up disembodied voices of spirits.
Ooh.
Very scary, spooky, and lovely. And they had an electromagnetic field detector as well.
EMF detector.
Yeah, which, detects electromagnetic fields potentially emitted by spirits. Fascinating.
Yeah.
Absolutely fascinating to meet them. Lovely couple.
Absolutely.
And we really enjoyed the chat we had with them. They were full of information about, how this equipment works. Just incredible. I mean, that's exciting. That's an exciting hobby to have.
We stood chatting there for about half an hour, and it wasn't the warmest, was it? We were chatting
we were
about half an
engaged
hour.
in the conversation.
Completely. And they've started a blog, but I think we'll just ask them whether they want us to let people know what the name is.
Yeah, we need to check with them first.
But it was fascinating, and it's also where they did quite a lot of films. They've done a lot of films up there, like Hammer horror films.
Well, they were filming a programme in the Hellfire Caves as we drove past.
They were, that's right.
It looked like a big production.
It was. I mean,
not sure what it was.
Not sure what it was. No. But the Hellfire Caves, we've been in there before.
Yes, we have twice.
Have we ever done a video there?
No, we've been in there twice though.
We've been in there twice. We went there with Mum and Dad. The last time we went with Mum and Dad, and it gets quite. It's cut into the chalk hillside, and it goes a really long way down into a big chamber at the base, which is, well, I guess it must be sort of below the church and below the mausoleum, in the ground right below, and it gets quite cool when you go down there. But of course, because it's underground, it's always cool. So in the summer it's cool, and in the winter it sort of feels a bit warmer than outside, if you see what I mean, because it's obviously insulated by all the ground. But it's a great place. I've been there 3 times. We've been there together twice. And I did.
I don't remember taking Mum and Dad there.
Yeah, we did, and we had a tea in the little tea shop.
In the garden centre.
No, in the there's that little tea shop to the left.
I don't remember that.
I do.
I'm sure we took one of my sisters with the kids. I can't. Brain gone. Anyway,
and
so
then
that was lovely.
Then there is Dashwood House, West Wickham, which is open to the public, I think, sort of like Easter time to October, so it's closed now. And I went there many years ago, and that's a great country home as well.
The whole area around there is beautiful countryside, gorgeous little ye olde villages. It's really a beautiful part of England, so it's lovely.
Yeah.
The traffic, though.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, that was
the
the day after, wasn't it?
That was the day after.
The day after, we went to Hampton Court Palace.
Another of our favourite places.
Lovely. So we've got a video on that as well, so just go and have a look at this one if you want to. Hampton Court, home of King Henry VIII.
Well, a whole load of royals, in fact.
Well, it originally was...
Oliver Cromwell.
No, it was Cardinal Wolsey.
Cardinal Wolsey, of course.
And
yeah.
Cardinal Wolsey gifted it to try and stay in favour with King Henry VIII, gifted it to him.
Yeah.
And then it became home of successive royals.
Yeah, so it's sort of still a royal palace.
It is still owned by the Queen and the Crown, I believe, but it's maintained by historic royal palaces.
As is the Tower of London.
Yes.
And others.
There's
Kew
a
Palace.
couple of other places, aren't there?
And in Northern Ireland there's... I can't remember. There's one in Northern Ireland as well.
But the traffic going to Hampton Court, it was the day before this new lockdown.
Yeah.
And I swear everybody was out and about shopping for last minute lockdown items.
I mean, a journey that should take us maybe about
40 minutes?
40 minutes maximum on a busy day took... Well, we left it... Well, it took
an hour and a half.
An hour and a half.
An hour and a half.
An hour and a half. And it was... Yeah. Oh.
We still managed to get in, though.
We did, and I find as I get older, I get a bit anxious about certain things.
Yeah.
So you have to book a slot to go to historic royal palaces.
Most of those places
areas
now.
at the moment,
yeah.
like Kew Gardens as well. And we booked a slot that was 10 till 10:30, but we knew we were going to be late. There was no way we were going to get there for 10:30. We realised, sort of like half an hour out, and we both thought, oh, will they let us in?
Will they turn us away? Is it going to be busy? And they'll say no, sorry. But they were lovely.
Absolutely lovely. They always are.
The staff at Hampton Court, hats off to them. They're so pleasant, so helpful. Just lovely, aren't they?
Yeah.
The gardens were beautiful because it was, again, a gorgeous, gorgeous day, wasn't it?
It was, I think it's the best day of the week. It was the best day of the week. Just fantastic and clear.
As you sashay around the gardens, as one likes to, you do really get a sense of walking in the footsteps of ancient royal families.
History.
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible. It is incredible. And they've done such a good job, and they continue to do such a good job of recreating an ambience, don't they?
Yeah, but those gardens wouldn't have been there like that at Henry VIII's time.
No, the gardens have changed over a whole load of different royals, and as a new royal came along, there may be a new in thing.
Well, the palace itself has got 2 distinct styles.
It's got the Tudor.
So you've got the Tudor palace, and then you've got the palace which is, I think, loosely modelled on Versailles. And then you've got various bits and pieces that have been added on over time. But it's an impressive place to visit if you ever want to do so.
And we went specifically to, almost specifically to look at the grounds.
Yeah.
But we also knew that the Great Hall, which was going through significant renovation the last couple of times we've been there, that's now been fully renovated, so we were able to see that as well.
Yeah.
But what I was amazed, we have been there many times together, and I've been there a couple of times because I used to do the PR for the Hampton Court ice rink. Been there many times, and I didn't. Once we got into the gardens at the back, it was that there was a canal, a 3/4 mile canal that was built by one of the royals, and I never knew it was there. I mean, we got to the end of this walk, and then there was just this mass of water, and I had never understood that the size of this. You see it from the house, but you don't really contemplate the size of it. And that whole area was surrounded by a sort of moat, wasn't it? That comes off the Thames and is tidal.
Fascinating.
Yeah, amazing.
Fascinating.
And the Thames itself was really high, wasn't it?
It was.
Really
lovely.
high.
So that was a lovely day, Paul.
It was.
Lovely. So, what else has been happening this week? Oh, we've had the November the 5th. That's been and gone. The barrage, the absolute barrage of fireworks the other night. Crazy. For those of you maybe who don't know what November the 5th signifies, it's Guy Fawkes Night. This is the commemoration of the capturing of Guy Fawkes in 1605.
A real person.
Who was involved in the gunpowder treason plot to assassinate King James.
Blow up the House of Parliament.
The House of Lords.
House
was
of
it? I think it was the House of Lords. Which was foiled, and it's really interesting looking into the history actually, because it has morphed into different celebrations over the centuries. It actually became a Thanksgiving Day at one point.
Right.
Because I think the king was Protestant and the gunpowder treason plot were Catholic. So there was a religious overtone to this as well. And it kind of became this sort of celebratory thing around divine intervention that prevented the plot from being successful. So it has morphed and changed over the years, and people have celebrated it in different ways, you know. So the history is really, really interesting. It is.
Somebody I know who has Irish ancestry, their family in Ireland were harbourers of the plotters of the gunpowder plot.
Lovely. Lovely.
They when it was found out, they lost a lot of land and things.
But I think the whole thing about fireworks is getting absolutely ridiculous. They're getting noisier and noisier when they should actually be getting quieter and quieter, because they don't have to have the bangs.
No, I mean
the bangs are built in,
and also they don't have to have the flame and all of that either, because you can do drones now.
Now I know we've talked about this before, but in terms of the actual fireworks themselves, they don't have to have bangs.
No.
And some of the bangs this time round were just so loud, it really feels like you're in a war zone, you know. So anyway, we're not going to labour the point because we talked about this before so many times, haven't we?
But well done Sainsbury's for not selling fireworks this year.
Lovely. So, we did that video, didn't we, on puddings and desserts, which a lot of you really, really enjoyed.
Pudding.
And I didn't really want to talk about the puddings, but we're going to do part 2. That's going to happen.
Part 2.
I don't think you pronounce the T. Do you?
I do.
Part 2.
And we say that because we're going to do blancmange.
We are. We're going to do another run of desserts, but it sparked off for us and quite a number of you a lot of old memories. And one of the memories that came to me was also sparked off by Vivi's photograph of her glass beads.
Oh, right, yeah.
And what it sparked off was my memory of marbles, having a bag of marbles as a child. And that, it really did flood back. And it's kind of as though this week has been a week for really remembering things from childhood. You know, memories flooding in. I have quite a good, strong recall of early childhood.
Yeah, I do.
But a lot of people don't.
I know. I remember marbles, but you were saying about playing on like a sewer lid
the
or
grid
something.
cover, the grid cover, yeah, the drain cover
of a road.
Because the drain cover had all these little tracks in it.
Yeah.
And it had two sort of like scooped out bits that were the handholds for people to remove the grid cover. So we used to use it as like a playing field with a goal each end, and you used to nudge the marbles along to get to your goal. And we used to have arguments and fights over marbles.
Oh, and you could get bigger marbles as well, couldn't you?
What we used to call dobbers, which were the big ones. And then you'd have the tiny ones as well.
Oh, yeah.
Tiny little ones. Yeah. And then you'd have the white ones, which were the proper cat's eye ones.
Oh, I don't.
That were white.
I don't remember them.
They were, I think, ceramic, I'm not sure, like polished. Or maybe they were white glass, I don't know. But I loved my marble collection.
I remember jacks.
Yeah, jacks with a little ball.
It was like a ball, and it was like...
You had to bounce and pick.
Yeah, and they were like sort of metal...
Jacks.
But what were they? They were like crosses, 3D crosses, weren't they?
Yeah.
And you had to bounce the ball and pick up and bounce the ball.
Jack. Lovely. Memories of childhood.
But actually, the interesting thing this week has been a throwback. And when we were talking about going to Hampton Court, I just said, I remember going to Hampton Court with Mum and Dad, and it just immediately threw me back to that moment, and I got quite emotional about it.
Well, I think this does happen with memories, and just go with it. Go with it, enjoy it. And if you shed a tear, you shed a tear.
Absolutely.
It's not going to last forever.
No. But there were other things that we were remembering about puddings, because puddings weren't a regular thing in our house, but we normally we would normally have something on a Sunday. On Sunday tea and Saturday tea, we'd have little sort of cakes like iced Mr. Kipling cakes and things like that, French fancies and things.
Yeah, we've talked about this before.
Yeah, but there is a Guernsey pudding called Gosh Melard, which is a pudding made of apples. And I think we will be doing, not next week or the week after, but we will be doing a video about making Gosh Melard.
So we've got to actually start part 2 of the puddings and desserts of our childhood. So, we can't do that quickly because otherwise, eating 5 puddings in 1 week, that's rather excessive. Because the thing is, it's not as though you just make individual portions. You make a whole pudding, and that's going to serve us for 3 meals, isn't it? 3 desserts after our meals. So, one has to think of the calories.
The Angel Delight.
Yeah.
Very few calories went down for that.
Yeah,
but you'll have to watch it to see.
Yeah, a lot of you have already. Thank you, bloody thank you. So, move on. Let's move forwards.
And?
Word of the week. Lovely. Your highlight. Your favourite bit.
What were? Word of the week. What were?
So, word of the week this week is obligation. I'll spell it for you. ABLIGURITION.
Obliteration.
Obligorition. No, obligorition.
UrItion.
Ischian. Obligorition.
I can't even cut that down. Abseiling.
Ligorition.
Is it something to do with something that the body does? That like mechanics of the body moving and things like that?
No.
Is it something that is the opposite of something else?
No, Paul.
Obligorition.
Obligorition.
Obligorition. Uition. I've got no idea.
Shall I tell you?
Is it something celebratory?
No. Well, it could be viewed as celebratory in a way. Shall I tell you? Shall I put you out of your misery?
Yes.
It's excessive spending on food or drink.
How do they get to that?
I don't know. Lovely.
That is one of those words that regurgitate, so Gurition.
Orission, yeah.
I'm not sure how. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up.
Obligorition.
Rishin.
I'm adding an extra emphasis on the end of the word, which I probably shouldn't be.
Oh, well, obviously, if you hadn't done that, I'd have got it.
Oh, shut up. So, Paul, it's been a bumper week for television and film.
Oh, it has.
Lots of things.
Lots of things, different things.
Staying on a horror theme.
Yes, we did The Revenge of Frankenstein.
Oh, God, that was dire.
It wasn't dire, but it wasn't great. Peter Cushing and... I can't remember his name. His name has gone.
I don't know,
but
don't struggle.
No, it was okay. It was okay. Something happened at the end and Richard said, well, didn't you see that at the beginning? And I went, no.
Well, it wasn't at the beginning. It was in the middle.
It was in the middle. I didn't see that bit.
But anyway, so yeah, Yawnorama.
Talking about the middle of things, we also watched Dracula. And a very interesting thing happened about halfway through, didn't it?
I fell asleep. It was so... I mean, Bela Lugosi is very often celebrated, for his portrayal as Dracula. But I mean, all he does is kind of look in the camera and go...
And he's got the light on his eyes.
That's it. That's all he does.
I do like the ship bit and all of that, but it's sort of... By the time he gets to London, I sort of
I've seen it before.
Interest.
I've seen it before.
You've seen it, yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's better things than that film, to be honest. We also watched on YouTube the Drag Race special, Bring Back My Ghouls. We switched off. There was one part of it that was good, and that was the song at the beginning. There was no RuPaul. It was presented by, what's her name? Jada Essence Hall. Look, I'm not running any of the performances down. They all did their best, but it was really lacking in sparkle. There were a couple of mildly funny bits, but overall...
I think part of the problem was that, I mean, we switched off, so we don't know, but the first Jada interviews and, the cast of that season, and asked the same questions. And I think it could have done with something like a spinner wheel, with 12 questions on a wheel, and you spin it, and wherever it lands, you ask that question, because it just felt a bit...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't sparkle for us at all, which was very disappointing.
But they all looked fantastic.
Of course they did.
You know...
And they did a good job of editing and the filming.
Yeah.
But it just lacked a lot for us, for our entertainment. We finished the series Truth Seekers on Amazon with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Highly recommended if you've got Amazon TV.
We hadn't started it.
Hadn't we?
No.
Oh well. We started that and finished it. Very
really
good.
Enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
Good show.
Really great. A fun piece. A fun sort of piece. Definitely. And Andy... Is it Andy McDowell?
Andy McDowell?
No, who is it? Who plays the father?
Andy McDowell is a woman.
I know. Who plays the father?
Malcolm McDowell.
Malcolm McDowell. That's it. Malcolm McDowell. I mean, fabulous. I just think that character was fabulous.
Yeah.
And the introduction of that character is brilliant.
Good series, worth watching. Lovely. Let's move on to the next one. We're continuing with Star Trek Discovery. I think that's my favourite show at the moment. By a long shot.
Yeah.
Really great, really enjoyable.
Slightly different vibe in it last night, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was more of a traditional Star Trek type episode, traditional format, which was really lovely to see. We treated ourselves to the original version of Halloween with the lovely, delectable Jamie Lee Curtis. Yes. Fantastic. It's a great film. She is the original Scream Queen, really.
Yeah, she is.
She is. Of the modern genre of jumpy horrors. Love her in that. Although, I have to say, the dubbing was really obvious at points.
Yeah, it is.
Some of the screams and the they didn't sound like screams of fear to me.
No, they didn't. Well, she does say at one point...
Well, it's not her, it's the first one that gets killed when it's the flashback at the beginning. Where Michael kills his... I'm not going to say it.
Yeah.
I spoil it. But it's that bit where she gets stabbed to death and she's going...
No, it's the one it's the one further on where they're in the house together and Michael's come in and he's got his ghost thing on and the glasses. It's that one. When she's on the phone, she calls.
If I was being stabbed to death, I'd be making more noise than that, I tell you. Anyway, we also watched the remake of A Nightmare on Elm Street. Now, I love A Nightmare on Elm Street. It's one of my favourite horrors.
I've not seen it.
And Paul had never seen it, so we watched the remake.
I really enjoyed it.
You did enjoy it, but you've never seen the original, so it's kind of very similar in storyline, in terms of events. But I give it maybe a 7 out of 10.
I give it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
But then again, I haven't seen the original.
We will watch the original.
We
love a bit of Freddy Krueger. Lovely. And we also went back to a classic musical, the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, yes.
Why did you want to watch that one? Because I've seen it hundreds of times.
I think, again, it's one of those that I don't remember actually seeing all the way through. And we watched it all the way through, and yeah, I enjoyed it.
It's a great film, great movie. The performances are excellent. And also, it's filmed really well, I think.
I think it's filmed really well. I think the sound is really good.
It does... It's kind of ancient now, isn't it? 1975.
Oh, yeah.
And it was, I think, fairly low budget.
I'm surprised they haven't remade it.
Well, they did.
Did they?
They did one of those live versions.
Oh, right.
And I think
Did we see it?
I think I watched a little bit and switched off because it was dire, as far as I'm concerned. They make it too camp. I
think it's taken on that essence, hasn't it? Now, and certainly with Nicholas Parsons, bless him, when he was the narrator in the stage show, At the end, he comes out in his, you know.
But I think the issue with the stage show, I've seen the stage show a few times. I'm not into audience participation in general. And actually, I've heard Richard O'Brien talk about this, and he has said that actually it all becomes a bit out of control sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
And that it's very hard for performers to do their job when the audience is so rowdy that, you know, they're all enjoying themselves, but the performers aren't actually getting anything from it.
And they're ahead of the story, so are, you know, announcing things that are going to, and start the oohing and things like that before they actually happen.
There's a whole set of specific audience participation script that people follow.
Yeah.
Which is in itself really good fun. But if you were new to going to see it on stage and you weren't prepared for that, I think you'd find it quite annoying.
But hey, it's been seen by millions of people over decades. I mean, absolute decades.
Well, yeah.
No, I mean in theatres.
Well, it started in the early 70s, didn't it? Upstairs at the Royal Court.
Royal Court, I think, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that was fun. Lovely to watch that, and lovely to see it in HD as well, because there are some scenes which are just stunning.
Yeah. And we saw, and Tim Curry is just, you know, fantastic.
Bless him.
I'm actually watching him in a Poirot at the moment. He's in a Poirot.
Yeah, lovely. So, that's what we've been watching. We've certainly filled our autumn evenings with lovely viewing.
Yeah, we have.
We have. No, we have. We're not short of things to watch. Entertainment. So that's it. Have you got anything else to talk about, Paul? Did you want to mention anything to the lovely viewers?
No, not really.
No? Okay,
obviously,
then,
a week at the plot will be up on Monday. We're potentially thinking of moving that to Tuesday, but we'll see. We'll see.
Why is that, Paul?
Just to sort of give a little gap, really, between Sunday and a week at the plot. I'm not sure whether it will make any difference. I quite like a week at the plot on the Monday.
Well, then we'll keep it as that, then, won't we?
Oh, Magpie! Look, Magpie, you need to lean forward. Look, there he is.
Don't come in.
He's not going to come in.
No, the window's not open.
But yeah, a week at the plot will continue, and thank you to everyone who's watched a week at the plot this week. I mean, I'm astounded at the numbers it does in some weeks. Some weeks it doesn't do quite as well, but this week it's really sort of romping away.
Lovely.
It would be amazing if we can hit 2,000 by the time the next one launches on Monday. But hey-oh, we'll see. It doesn't matter, really. But there's things to do at the plot, so I'll be seeing you down there a bit over the coming months.
Thank you. So take care, everybody. We're going now.
Oh right, we're going
That's
now.
it. This is the wind up.
Is there nothing else?
No, I think we've covered everything that we were.
Are you going to make blancmange today?
No. So thank you to everybody. Goodbye and take care. And I'm sure we'll see you in the week for extra little bits and pieces.
Well, particularly on Planet Vegetaria.
Why?
Well, because we always do.
Do we? Oh, we do provide extra bits and pieces.
Absolutely.
And of course, keep looking out for our new things.
Well, we'll announce it if we're going to do it next week, won't we?
We will, unless we announce it in the week. Depends on how quickly we're able to get things up and running.
Yeah.
And whether it suits us.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, take care. Bye for now.
Bye. Alexa says bye.
Goodbye.